Glad to join our news bulletin right here on Luntha television. I'm Charity Chilanga. First, look at the top stories.
Dicastery for the Doctrine of Faith issues ruling on Our Lady of the Rock. 4 state witnesses withdraw statements against Bushiris. Pressure group for yet another ultimatum. And in international news, shock and outrage in Kenya after serial killer confesses to killing 42 women since 2022.
We do have the details to these and many more. Stay tuned. The Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith has published its ruling on the spiritual floods that followed from alleged apparitions to Cosimo Flagomeni in Calabria on the basis of the new norms on alleged apparitions. In a letter dated June 30, the prefect of the Dicastery, Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, confirms the new obstacle proposed by the prelate with regard to events surrounding the diocesan shrine of Our Lady of the Rock in Santa Domenica di Pranica, Calabria. We have a Vatican News report read by Tandile Msumara.
Responding to a query from Bishop Francisco Oliva of Local Guerres, Cardinal Fernandez says in the secularized world in which so many spend their lives without any reference to transcendence, the pilgrims who approach the shrine of the rock are a powerful sign of faith. Cardinal Fernandez recalls that according to the new norms published by the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith on the 17th of May, the nihil obstat is not to be understood as an approval of the supernatural character of the phenomenon, but rather as recognition of the spiritual experience proposed for the shrine. In his letter, Cardinal Fernandez emphasizes how the sanctuary has attracted the interest of many other faithful people from different backgrounds, especially those who are suffering and sick. He notes that over the years, the place has increasingly attracted devout attendance and pilgrimages under the supervision of the competent ordinary, which has led to an intense spiritual activity of prayer and listening. The diocesan bishop is therefore encouraged to appreciate the pastoral value and to promote the spread of this spiritual proposal, including through pilgrimages, gatherings, and prayer meetings, while the faithful are authorized to give their adherence to these events in a prudent manner. Meanwhile, Bishop Oliver goes on to invite the faithful to attend a solemn celebration scheduled at the shrine on the afternoon of the 5th August.
The Apostolic Nuncio to Malawi and Zambia, His Excellency the Most Reverend Gianna Luca has called for spiritual support to the people of God who are entrusted to the bishop's care. He says a more unified commitment must strive to bring the joy of the risen Lord to the people. The Apostolic Nuncio has made the remarks at the opening session of the Sub-Region Conference of Catholic Bishops from Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, currently underway in Salima. Bernard Manza is attending the conference and speaks to the very Reverend Father Valeriano Ntseka, who is the Secretary General of the Episcopal Conference of Malawi, to give a highlight of how the day has progressed.
We looked at a number of issues where we, people from Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, have a common ground. Issues to do with marriage of our people, issues to do with the environmental degradation, issues to do with the formation of young people that are in the formation centers for priesthood. We also said, okay, how do we come together and look at these issues, work together, come up with solutions, so that finally we have young men who can go from Malawi to Zambia or to Zimbabwe for formation. The same would apply to the religious sisters. The young girls could go. Of course, for them it may not be a problem because being religious, most of them usually move through the different countries. But in terms of diocesan priests, like in Malawi, You know that our formation is done right here in Malawi. You go to Kajabera and then you go to St. Peter's. But then we are trying to see how we can do exchange programs so that we can benefit from each other.
Well, we have also seen the involvement of other lay groups, other lay representatives. Maybe why the idea to also invite them to be part of the conference?
Yes, it's true that we have lay people in the conference. The reason is that the resolutions will not be implemented by the bishops. The resolutions, you know that the issues that are coming out are not about the bishops, but the people that are under the care of the bishops. So we want the lay people to be involved so that during the implementation, then we move together as a church. That's why we have involved the lay people from the family. We have a representative of a couple from the family, and then we have a youth, we have lay council, we have Catholic Women Association. So all these are involved to make sure that during the time of implementation, we are together in this.
And finally, what should we expect tomorrow as you also be finalizing the conference?
Tomorrow we are finishing the conference, and there are quite a number of issues that came out because we also have to look at how we are going to locate the secretariat of the conference. How do we choose leadership in this association, but also the term of office. So there are a number of issues. How do we finance our activities? All those issues. So we are trying to see on how these issues can be sorted out, and that's I think one of the most important things because we need to move forward. So I think tomorrow we should be able to really know how this has transpired, and also how we are going to make sure that there is a smooth running of this association.
Four witnesses who recorded in their statements that they were allegedly raped by Prophet Shepherd Bushiri in South Africa have withdrawn their statements and alleged that they were actually made to record the statements against the Enlightened Christian Gathering founder. This has turned out in a cross-examination of the South African witness Sibongile Nzinyati, a director of public prosecutions for Gauteng province, who confirmed with Bushiri's lawyer Wapona Kita that in light of the circumstances, it is not a case worth trial or consistently extradition. But Chief State Advocate Zigwanda Antumalunda insisted the developments in the proceedings are not necessarily for the current state of hearing. More with Robert Elliott.
The Bushiri's extradition case hearing resumed Wednesday morning for a probably last round of cross-examination between Bushiri's lawyer Wapona Kita and state witness who is South Africa's Gauteng province director of public prosecutions Sibongile Nzinyati, and the two tussled on rape allegations. According to Kita, the cross-examination has revealed that the women who alleged that Bushiri raped them were forced to make the fabricated allegation by somebody who recruited them before their withdrawal of their own statements way back in 2018, before the prophets were even arrested.
In the concluding part of our cross-examination, today, I think as you saw, we were taking the witness through the rape charges. And I think our aim was to show that those rape charges were fabricated. We have been able to show the court 4 withdrawal statements which relate to the rape victims. And in those withdrawal statements, the witnesses are able to show that no, they were not paid anything to withdraw their statements, and they were not raped by the prophet. They were in fact forced by the investigator to make fake rape allegations against the prophet because that's the reason why they wanted him to leave Malawi. We have also shown that there was a particular individual who recruited all those girls to make the false allegations against rape. And at the end, I think the witness has agreed that in the light of those statements, it's not a case which is worth taking for trial. In other words, it's not a case worth extradition.
But the state's view on the matter is that the withdrawal of the witnesses' statements and its extent is not an issue for the current stage of the proceedings, as that may be the topic to be dealt with in South Africa if Chief Resident Magistrate Court in Malawi will extradite the two.
You should understand that the purported withdrawals are made or were made in the Republic of South Africa. At this point in time, we are of the view that they are not supposed to be used here. In fact, they were only used in cross-examination and are not evidence. If anything, should the fugitive offenders be extradited to the Republic of South Africa, it is our view that that is where the veracity or authenticity of those purported withdrawals may be.
Lilongwe Chief Resident Magistrate Madalitso Chimwaza has since adjourned the matter to Thursday morning for cross-examination continuation, which is expected to finish same day. The South African government wants Prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary to be extradited back to South Africa to answer money laundering and other charges. The extraditing court must satisfy itself with evidence from the requesting state that the fugitive offenders really committed offense if the same was to be committed in the court's jurisdiction. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
A pressure group coordinates of Malawi First has described as triple threat for Malawi the newly introduced stamp tax on goods by Malawi Revenue Authority (MRA), alleged failure to register citizens by NRB and Malawi Electoral Commission's insistence that the national ID will be the only document for one to be eligible voter in the next year elections. Lead of the grouping, Bon Kalindo, has told press conference in Lilongwe on Wednesday that if their voices of reason are not considered in 10 days, they will mobilize nationwide demonstrations, which will also involve vendors. Robert Edwards spoke to Kalindo.
We had 3 issues today to do with tax stamps, registration failures, and the political arrests. We wanted to tell government to go and revisit what they call through MRA, what they call tax stamps, where people are demanded to pay tax stamps after paying duty and after paying Malawi Bureau of Standards. We feel this is not only in a democratic country, because this program has just come without the consultation. People have not been consulted, and it has just come at a short period without following the law. So we wanted the Malawians out there to know, and also MRA to know, that Malawians are not happy out there, especially the business community. And at the same time, that Malawians are also failing to access the IDs because of their own problems. And at the same time, we want to encourage Malawi Electoral Commission to be apolitical.
You're watching news on Luntha television. We'll be back after this short break.
Pitani kalalikeni mthenga wabwino. Mariko 16 ndime 15. Dzina langa ndine Judith Sonko, editorial assistant wa Radio Maria Malawi. Ndakubweretserani nkhani yosangalatsa kwambiri kwa inu nonse amene mmakonda kumvera Radio Maria Malawi. Radio Maria Malawi inayamba kugwira ntchito zake pa 24 August 1999. Kuyambira nthawi imeneyo kudzafika chaka chino yakwanitsa zaka 25. Ndipo chikondwerero cha chaka chimenechi chichitike pa 24 August chaka chino, ukuto ndi kulikulu la wailesi imeneyi ku Lilongwe. Choncho kuyambira tsopano kufikira nthawi imene tikhale ndi chaka chimenechi, tikhale kupatsirani maprogramu osiyanasiyana pa Radio Maria Malawi, komanso wailesi za mpingo wa Katolika mdziko muno monga Kuwala FM, Radio Alinafe, Radio Tigawane, Tuntufye Radio komanso Luntha Television. Choncho kuti mwambo umene udzakhale opambana kwambiri ukusowa inu ndi ine kuti tigwirane manja kuthandizana makamaka popereka chuma chathu, nzeru zathu, nthawi yathu komanso mapemphero athu. Radio Maria Malawi, liwu la Chikristu m'nyumba mwanu.
Luntha TV is now on Zuku Channel 51. You can get yourself a Zuku decoder from the Luntha TV offices in Area 2, Lilongwe, and from all the St. Manford bookshops across the country in Kasungu, Lilongwe, Salima, Dedza, Balaka, Zomba, Mulanje, Blantyre, Chikwawa, Mwanza, and Mangochi. For more information, contact 0883 815 055 or 0996 892 965. Get a Zuku decoder today and not miss daily mass, worship and prayers, news bulletins, and so much more on Luntha TV, bringing wisdom into your home.
If you've just joined us, I know that you're watching news on Luntha Television. Now a reminder of the top stories.
Dicastery for the Doctrine of Faith Issues ruling on Our Lady of the Rock. 4 state witnesses withdraw statements against Bushiris. Pressure group for yet another ultimatum. And in international news, shock and outrage in Kenya after serial killer confesses to killing 42 women since 2022.
Moving on with the news, the government says it has taken another leap in bridging the digital gap with plans to reach out to rural area-based citizens with great innovations. Secretary for Information and Digitalization, Badwini Chiamaka, reviewed this today during the second open day of the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority MACLA Open Week at Bingu International Convention Center in Lilongwe. More with Herbert Katanda.
Secretary for Information and Digitization, Badwin Chiamaka, said they will erect solar-powered telecommunications towers in rural areas to ensure easy access of network and internet. He said the ministry is also investing in crucial ICT infrastructure, promoting digital literacy. He stated that apart from constructing networking towers, the ministry is constructing the National Data Center in Lilongwe, connecting 500 public institutions and education institutions, installing free public Wi-Fi, and developing the Malawi Interoperability and Data Exchange Platform.
This is a very important event, very, very important. It is government wish, the ministry's wish that started corporations that are under the oversight of the Ministry of Information and Digitalization should do their work openly, transparently, accountably. But also they should use methods that are empowering, capacitating, and friendly. So MACRA as a regulator is setting an example, meeting the requirements and the policy of government to enforce laws and regulations in a friendly, open, and accountable manner. So today we see that consumers, licensees, operators in the ICT or communications industry have been brought together to engage with MACRA, with the Ministry of Information and Digitalization, with MACRA, its board, management, to interact, ask questions, do diagnosis, and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very important occasion.
On her part, MACRA board chairperson Bridget Shibana described the open day as a forum for interaction between the organization and its stakeholders, thereby providing an opportunity for awareness of MACRA's initiatives and services and to receive feedback.
MACRA, as a regulator of communications services, we provide advisory role and we also regulate the communication services in the country. So we are expecting people who are present here, our operators, our consumers, the general public, and all others who are present to give us feedback on how we are effectively regulating the communication sector in Malawi, and also provide feedback on how we can improve the regulation of communication services in the country.
The open days started in Luntha, Lilongwe, and will be taken to Mzuzu next week. The regulator also plans to do the same in rural communities.
Journalists in the country have been challenged to always remember all professional elements, including verification in news reporting. This was made at a workshop held at Sunbelt Hotel in Lilongwe, which brought together journalists from various media outlets to discuss the importance of accurate reporting. According to Women in News Advisory and Media Relations Manager Sheila Lupenga, the session covered topics such as identifying biases, verifying sources, and debunking misinformation, where participants engaged in practical exercises to hone their fact-checking skills, facilitated by experienced journalists and fact-checking experts. Emmanuel Georgia reports.
The News Advisory and Media Relations Officer, Sheila Lupenga, emphasized on the importance of fact-checking in maintaining the credibility of news reports. She described fact-checking as crucial in maintaining the credibility of reports, adding their aim is to equip journalists with skills to produce high-quality, facts-based reporting.
Actually, we needed to organize this misinformation, disinformation, and fact-checking training because you can agree with me that as the world is getting digital, everybody has almost become a source of news. We share content on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram, and other platforms. What is key is to have credible news, credible information that goes to the masses. So with this realization, we thought it important that our journalists in the country have to have a basis of their giving of news by making sure that whatever they give is checked and is not actually information that is half-baked or information that is false. So we needed to do this training to make sure that they understand and have the skills and knowledge on how best to have credible news given to the audiences.
The training session received positive feedback from participants who appreciated valuable insights and skills gained. This initiative aligns with Women in the News mission to support journalists in producing accurate and reliable news. Facilitating the training, seasoned journalist Winston Mwari advised journalists to always put into practice what they have learned, describing it as important for journalists to apply the skills they have learned in their daily work. One of the participants, Wilson Maliketi, expressed his appreciation for the training, saying he has been equipped to always report news that is real and accurate to avoid misleading the public.
I, being a communication expert, I have now come to understand that gathering news is not just a mere thing, but you have to really get information which is reliable, which is true, so that shouldn't tarnish the image of yourself as an individual and even the organization.
As the battle against the thin plastics continues, experts say if the issue is not looked into seriously, the Malawi 2063 agenda will be compromised. In an interview with Luntha Television, Charles Mkoka, Executive Director of Coordination Union for the Environment, noted that one of the key pillars for the implementation of the agenda is agriculture, which does not work independently without the environment. Rashida Matandeka reports.
According to Nkoka, thin plastics are a contributing factor to environmental degradation as they do not compose easily. He went on to note that this is dangerous to human and animal life. He further noted that the 2063 agenda is also leaning on agriculture, which is complemented by a conducive environment, and if the environment is not being cared for, the whole pillar will be affected.
Yeah, Malawi is an agro-based economy. A country that relies on agriculture. And agriculture alone cannot stand if you don't have a healthy environment. It means we need to have good soils, we need to have good nutrients, also need to make sure that we have water that is not polluted. But you will notice that as had earlier indicated in the vernacular in Chichewa, when you take thin plastics and you dump them in the environment, even if you bury them in the soil, these things, they don't biodegrade. So when I'm saying they don't biodegrade, that's a biological term, and that means these things cannot decompose.
Currently, the former Attorney General Kaleken Kapale has vowed to fight with government on the matter against the 11 companies that are being represented by Council Wapona Kita. The companies that have obtained the fresh injunction are City Plastics Industry, Flexopac Limited, G Plastics Wholesale and Retail, GS Plastic Industry, Jago Plastics Limited, OG Plastics Industries Limited, Plastmax Limited, Polypack Limited, and others. Luntha TV, Baraka.
And in international news, police in Kenya keeping in custody Collins Jumais Karusha, 33, who confessed to having killed 42 women since 2022, including his own wife, after his arrest on Monday. Karusha was detained following the recent discovery of 9 mutilated bodies at an abandoned quarry in Nairobi. He then led officers to his house near the crime scene where 10 phones, a laptop, identity cards and personal female clothing were found, police said. Since Friday, police have cordoned off the dump site, the Mukulu quarry, where the bodies were found in various stages of decomposition. The victims were aged between 18 and 30 and were all killed in the same way, according to the police. There has been shock and outrage in Kenya over the murders and anger directed towards the police that such crimes could have gone unnoticed for so long. That also brings us to the end of our edition of news, but let's have a recap of the top stories before we go.
Dicastery for the Doctrine of Faith Issues ruling on Our Lady of the Rock. 4 state witnesses withdraw statements against Bushiris. Pressure group for yet another ultimatum. And in international news, shock and outrage in Kenya after serial killer confesses to killing 42 women since 2022.
Charity Chilanga, thanks so much for keeping me company and continue enjoying the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye.